The city expects to brace for a 16% surge in trips during Lunar New Year travel rush. Special traffic arrangements will be in place across the city to facilitate the celebrating crowd on the first 2 days of the Lunar New Year. And a Shek Kip Mei primary school has ordered a 6th former class to resit an oral examination after some pupils cheat using AI-generated speeches. Good evening, you're watching Cable News on FM Bai. Around 11.38 million passenger trips will be made in and out of the city over the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday via sea, land and air control points, the Immigration Department expected. Ahead of the 9-day holiday period starting Sunday, the IMD estimates about 9.52 million passengers will pass through all land boundary control points. Saturday is expected to see the peak for outbound land crossing, with around 636,000 departures, while the inbound peak is forecast on February 22nd, the 6th day of the Chinese New Year, with some 663,000 arrivals. Passenger flow at Luwu Lok Ma Chau Spurt Line and the Shenzhen Bay Control Point will be heavy, with a daily average forecast of approximately 200,000, 187,000 and 156,000 trips respectively. Over the holiday period, all checkpoints will maintain current operating hours, and Lok Ma Chau, Huanggang and the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge ports will operate around the clock as usual. In light of the surge, the authority has minimized frontline staff leave, opened additional counters and channels, and deployed more security guards. Travelers are reminded to pay attention to special traffic arrangements across the city on the first 2 days of the Lunar New Year when they go out to celebrate the start of the Year of the Horse. On February 17th, the first day of the Chinese New Year, police will implement 3 phases of road closures from 3:30 p.m. ahead of the captivating performances staged by the Tourism Board along the lively streets in Tsim Sha Tsui at 6 p.m., followed by the International Chinese New Year Night Parade, starting at 8 p.m. from the Canton Road, Hai Phong Road, and Nathan Road, and finishing near the Sheraton Hong Kong Hotel. Roads are expected to reopen at around 11:45 p.m. To facilitate the fireworks display over the Victoria Harbour, which starts at 8 p.m. on February 18th, road closures in phases will start from 5 p.m. in Tsim Sha Tsui and the West Kowloon Cultural District. Central, Wan Chai and the Eastern District will also see road closures from 6 p.m. Bus and green minibus routes serving affected areas will be diverted or suspended temporarily, while MTR services will be enhanced to cope with passenger demand. On that day, the Central to Mid-Levels escalator will extend its service until 2 a.m. the following day. In one of Hong Kong's first classroom cheating scandals involving generative artificial intelligence, several 6th graders at a Sham Shui Po Primary School were caught using AI to ghost-write speeches for a Chinese oral exam, prompting a full class retake and urging calls for stricter supervision. Kun Ting Yang shares more.
The incident unfolded last Thursday at ELCHK Faith Lutheran School in Shek Kip Mei during primary 6 students' speaking assessment, a key component of secondary school placement. Students who had finished their 1-minute presentations reportedly returned to the waiting room and reviewed the exam topic to classmates still awaiting their turn. Some then used their phones to generate polished speeches through AI tools. School administrators were alerted to the breach on Monday and ordered the entire class to retake the exam tomorrow. The case sparked immediate policy debate. Undersecretary for Education Jeff See said, authorities are considering installing surveillance cameras in examination waiting areas to curb similar misconducts. He added that the Education Bureau will also place greater emphasis on nurturing students' integrity and ethical awareness in digital learning. Education sector lawmaker Tian Fei argued that the issue stems more from lax supervision than AI misuse, noting that even sharing topics without AI already compromises fairness. He proposed closer monitoring of both exam and waiting rooms by teachers or teaching assistants. Tian also warned that generative AI's convenience poses a growing temptation for students completing assignments, calling for an industry-wide discussion on protecting academic honesty. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
The MTR's Island Line suffered service disruptions lasting over an hour on Wednesday morning after components on the underside of a rail milling engineering vehicle shifted, damaging trackside equipment. A former MTR engineer suggested human error may have been a factor in the incident. Cheryl Yun reports.
Train services between Sheung and Quarry Bay stations were halted for at least an hour during Wednesday's morning peak period after the MTR detected an obstruction on the tracks near Wan Chai station. Taking to the airwaves, Gary Zhang, a former lawmaker and MTR engineer, said construction staff may have failed to retract or secure an extension on the rail milling vehicle, leading to the damage along the track. He added that if negligence was confirmed after investigation, staff training should be intensified. Zhang also urged the operator to upgrade infrastructure and systems to prevent future incidents. Speaking on the same program, Ben Chen, chairman of the Legislative Council's Transport Panel, noted that MTR workers currently have only 2 to 3 hours each night after services end to carry out maintenance. Noting that equipment across the entire MTR network is gradually aging, Chen suggested extending maintenance windows by shortening operating hours during low passenger periods. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has called on the nation to unite as the country mourns a school shooting in northern British Columbia that left 6 people dead and more than 25 injured. Police confirmed the 18-year-old suspect, born male but identifying as a woman, killed her mother and stepbrother at home before carrying out the attack, then took her own life. Cheryl reports.
6 people were killed in the shooting at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, including a 39-year-old teacher and 5 students aged 12 to 13. The suspect, Jesse Van Roetselaar, was found dead at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police confirmed Van Roetselaar had also fatally shot her mother and stepbrother at their nearby home before heading to the school. She had dropped out of the same school about 4 years earlier and was known to officers who had responded to multiple calls at the residence over mental health concerns. The motive remains under investigation. Prime Minister Mark Carney, who suspended his trip to Munich, Germany, offered condolences and urged Canadians to come together.
We will get through this, we will learn from this, but right now it's a time to come together, as Canadians always do in these situations, these terrible situations, to support each other, to mourn together, and to grow together.
This tragedy ranks among Canada's deadliest mass shootings. Flags across the country will fly at half-staff for 7 days as the nation mourns. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
United States President Donald Trump has told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that Washington must keep pushing nuclear talks with Iran, even as Jerusalem pushes for much tougher terms and wider deal. Quentin Yang reports.
Emerging from nearly 3 hours of talks, delivered with unusual secrecy and no press access, Trump took to Truth Social to announce he had achieved precisely nothing his ally wanted. There was nothing definitive reached, other than I insisted the negotiations with Iran continue, Trump posted. A deal remains his preference, Trump added, but warned that if Iran refuses, Washington will see what the outcome will be, referring to last year's U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Netanyahu arrived seeking a maximalist crackdown, aiming to expand the talks beyond uranium to include Iran's ballistic missile program and its funding for Hamas and Hezbollah proxies. Instead, He was ushered in through a side entrance, no honor guard, no cameras, just a single handshake photo released by his own office. His office later insisted he had emphasized the security needs of the State of Israel during the discussions. The visit also comes as the Trump administration presses Israel and Hamas to implement the next phase of their Gaza ceasefire. Netanyahu met U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio earlier in the day to sign up as a member of Trump's Board of Peace. A White House spokesperson hailed Trump as Israel's best friend in its history. In Tehran, President Masoud Pezeshkian marked the Islamic Revolution's anniversary with defiance, vowing Iran would not yield to excessive demands while insisting it harbors no nuclear ambitions and remains ready for verification. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down 233 points. Top active stocks of the day. Alibaba was down $1.50. Meituan was down $4. Xiaomi was down 58 cents. Zijin Mining was up $1.50. Founder of Cheng Kong Group Li Ka-shing has once again topped Forbes' list of the city's 50 richest people with a fortune of $350 billion, while the Henry Jing family of New World Development ranked third. Bess Leung tells us more.
Forbes says the combined net worth of Hong Kong's 50 richest has climbed 22% to a record $366 billion last year, underscoring how a stronger equities market has offset ongoing concerns over property and trade. Li Ka-shing continues to hold the top spot with his wealth making a great leap forward, swelling by $7.8 billion to total $45.1 billion, which translates to approximately 350 billion Hong Kong dollars. The leap was the biggest among all multi-billionaires on the list. His son, Richard Li, ranked 17th with a net worth of $6.8 billion. Meanwhile, Peter and Martin Li, co-chairman of Henderson Land Development, make their debut at number 2. Their combined net worth of $34.9 billion shared with family was inherited from their father, Li Shaoqi, who passed away last March. Chairman of New World Development Henry Chang remains in the third spot, with his family wealth growing by $6.6 billion to $26.1 billion. The heirs of Seoul's Empire Lee Kum-ki maintained the fourth place, while Sun Hung Kai matriarch Kong Siu-heng edged up to fifth. Zhou Cai, chairman of Alibaba, kept his spot in the top 10, ranking 8th with a fortune of $14.2 billion. Bess Leung, Cable News.
On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy, sunny periods during the day tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 18 and 23 degrees. Moderate easterly winds, occasionally fresh offshore at first. That's our news tonight. I'm Evelyn Bai. Thank you for watching and good night.